Welcome back to the crack community. If you have a 4-year degree and you're working at a job that you don't even use the skills that you were trained in from college, go ahead and hit that subscribe button that's somewhere down here. Today we're going to be talking about Google and the Google Career Certification. So I read this article about how Google is offering people a 6-month course and giving them $60,000 a year, guaranteeing them $60,000 a year careers. What does that mean for the future of education? So if you go to college today, if you go to any college, they will not guarantee you a career. They won't guarantee you a career in that field. They won't guarantee you $60,000 a year. As a matter of fact, when I graduated from college, there were about 20 or 30 of us who went through a program to become teachers, and I think only 4 or 5 of us are still teachers. The rest of them went off to do other careers. Why? Because it's hard to become a professor. As a matter of fact, I'm an adjunct professor, and that means that I am part-time. So it's very hard, it's very difficult to become a full-time professor. But what does Google have to do with this? Well, Google came out with its program, and it's a 6-month course, as I said before, but they're guaranteeing a $60,000 a year job. Now, I think that in the future we're going to have more corporations that come on board. We're going to have probably in the future, in the next 5 years, 10 years, we're going to have Amazon certificates, and we're going to have, you name it, we're going to have Facebook certificates if Facebook is still around. We're going to have YouTube certificate. Well, I guess YouTube is part of Google. So, but the point is the more corporations who jump on board with this, the more people who are less prone to going to a traditional school. What does that mean? That means enrollment is going to drop significantly, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. There's always that argument of whether or not these extra courses that universities make you take make you a well-rounded person. I'm curious to know what you believe. Do you think that the courses make you a well-rounded person? And leave it in the comments below. Some say yes, some say no. I mean, there are times that I believe that it makes me a well-rounded person. There are still some classes that I've taken, like Asian American Studies, that I still quote today when I'm in the classroom. There's still information that I talk about when I talk about Asian American Studies. But the question is every class important? Take, for example, I wanted to be an English teacher, and I knew it right from the beginning of my career as a student. And I'll call it a career as a student because I treated it like it was a career. That's probably why I did so well in college, because I did treat it like a career. But the question is did I really need to take statistic classes? I still don't understand null hypothesis. I still don't, I mean, it's way over my head. I took the course, I got an A, but I don't remember anything about the course. So that's the question is, do these courses really matter? Does it really make us a more well-rounded person? So I gave you an example of where it does make you a well-rounded person, but then I gave you an example of where it doesn't. And I'm sure those who went to college can tell you that they forgot a lot of the information that they studied in all of these courses. So again, I don't have the answer, but what I do know is Google is offering a 6-month course. I said it again, but is offering these courses and is guaranteeing you a job and is bypassing all of these other courses. You're not going to be putting yourself $100,000, $80,000, $200,000 in debt. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Google's going to pay for it or if you have to pay for the 6-month courses. But the fact is you're not going to be in all of this debt. So I don't know what the answer is. I have people asking me all the time, if you could do it all over again, would you go back to college? And the answer is yes and no. Yes, I would go back to college if I had the GI Bill. I said in my previous video about how I got the GI Bill and how it helped me out significantly. And I don't think that if I had the GI Bill that I would go to college. People ask me what I would do, and I would probably go into plumbing. Here's a little story about when I was in the Marine Corps. I'm sure all of you heard of the people in the military who have to peel potatoes, or that's called mess duty. I never went to mess duty. I was actually, instead of mess duty, I was attached to maintenance. So I had to do a month of maintenance with a civilian. And our job was we would go around the camp, or not the campus, we'd go around the barracks and we'd fix all of the plumbing issues. We'd fix unclogged drains, and we'd fix leaks in sinks and all the kind of plumbing things that a person would need to see. But I would probably go into plumbing because today no one wants to take care of other people's crap, literally other people's crap. But that means that if if half the population, or not even half the population, more than a good majority of the population doesn't want to deal with people's crap, that means that plumbers make really good money. So I would have gone into plumbing or maybe electrician. I said in my other video too about how great those careers are. But if I had the GI Bill and it didn't put me, because if I didn't have the GI Bill, I'd still be $80,000 in debt and I'd still be working a part-time job, so it really wouldn't pay for it. As a matter of fact, I enrolled in a PhD program at Pepperdine. Not a PhD, it's called an EDD. So I enrolled in this program and I got accepted. But then I did the math and I was like, do I really want to put myself in $100,000 plus dollars in debt and only get paid $30,000, $40,000 a year? And the answer is no, I didn't do it. And for that reason. So I didn't have any more GI Bill to help me out with the EDD program. I was also looking at a PhD program in communications, and the same thing is I can't see myself putting myself in 100, or not just myself, my entire family. I can't see myself putting my entire family $120,000 in debt when it would take me decades to pay it off. So would I go back to college? Yes, if I had the GI Bill. No, if I didn't have the GI Bill. I would probably, if I didn't want to become a plumber, or if I didn't want to do electrical work, I would probably go into some Google certificate or something of that nature. Again, you'll still have your lawyers, doctors, other people who are going to always have to go the traditional route of education. I don't think that they're going to fast track those degrees, and I hope not. I hope that they don't fast track a degree to become a doctor, because that would just be a very bad thing if we had doctors graduating to be a medical doctor within 6 months or a year. So I do see in the future these corporations getting on board with providing certificates and guaranteeing a job. What does that mean for traditional education? I think that we're going to see a 20% drop in enrollment on campuses. What does that mean for people? That means that it's going to be easier for you to apply and get into a college in the future, because there won't be such a demand, right? So I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. Talk about it in the comments below. Is it a good thing that Google's doing this? Or is it a good thing that corporations are doing this? Is it a bad thing? I'm on the fence. I mean, I really don't think that everyone should look at college as the only way to succeed. I know many people who didn't go to college, and they became plumbers, and they became welders, and they became electricians, and they are living comfortably. They're living happily. And what more could you ask for than to be happy? And on the reverse side of it, I see people who graduate with 4-year degrees all the time, and they can't find a job. Or, well, let me rephrase that. They can't find a job in the field that they studied. So, again, I don't have the right answer. All that I do know is I'm looking, what's going to be the future of education? What's going to be the future of education if these corporations come out with their own certificates? And I'm still on the fence whether it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. I think one of the great positives is people won't be in $120,000 in debt. So, with that being said, I did have a great question about my book, and in case if you didn't know, I wrote a book, and here's the link. Click the link, and you can see what my book is all about. But I had a question about whether or not the entire code is in the book, including the sequence. If all 12 words are in the book, the answer is yes. All 12 words are in the book, and the question about the sequence is yes, the sequence is in the book also. So what you have to do is crack the code. And that's why I named the book Cracked. So the job, your task is to crack the code. And in case if you don't know, there's $15,000 or more or less, depending on the day of the price of Bitcoin. There's $15,000 worth of Bitcoin in this book. So please, again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave it in the comments section and check out my other 2 videos.